In this video, we're going to cover the interview question, tell me a little bit about yourself. So the mother of all interview questions, pretty much any recruiting conversation is going to start with a version of this question. The interviewer might say, tell me a little bit about your background, walk me through your resume. But all of this is very much the same thing. It's essentially the first question that you're going to get asked, definitely in a formal interview, but also if it's even an informational coffee chat, or you're at a career fair or some sort of employee event, and you go up to a recruiter. You know, they'll say, tell me a little bit about yourself. That's sort of the starting point of any conversation. So as innocuous as the question sounds, it's actually really, really important, because like I said, it's the first thing that you get asked. So whatever comes out of your mouth, whatever you say, it creates that first impression, number one. Number two, it is a unique opportunity, probably your best opportunity, to position yourself the way you want to. What you pick to highlight, the things that you choose to talk about, the things that you exclude, that can paint a very different picture. The same person can do two completely different TMAYs. So this is why it's really important to really think through what you're going to say, and to make sure that you actually try to target it to the extent possible, depending on who you're having the conversation with, depending on which company, what role, etc. So with that, let me tell you some of the things that you want to cover in your TMAY answer. Number one, the obvious, work experience. So make sure you give a pretty comprehensive picture of your overall work experiences. Obviously, you want to pick the things that are the most relevant and or the most recent. The second is education. So obviously your undergrad, master's, any other training, formal training, degrees, certificates, professional development certificates, anything you've done that's been additional training. Third, and pretty important, people forget this, is underlying skills and competencies. So, you know, through everything that you have done formally in your work experiences, as well as in your through your education, there will be a set of skills and competencies that you can point to. So try and think of 3 or 4 skill areas. So examples are analytical skills, problem-solving skills, communication skills, taking initiative, leadership. So those are some of the things that you want to cover. Now, about how you approach this, how you would actually deliver this response. First thing is, remember that your TMAY should be fairly robust, and you want to give a nice story and detail, but you also don't want to ramble on and on, because, you know, like I said, it is the first question and it's going to be the jumping off point for the rest of the conversation. So you kind of want to leave room for them to ask you follow-up questions, and for them to sort of, you know, be able to jump in there and move the interview forward. So in terms of how you deliver this content, one way is obviously to do it chronologically. That's a very common approach that I think a lot of people take. So in other words, you know, take me through your resume, and so you start at usually college, and then go through your different work experiences, finishing up to where you're at today. And that certainly is a fairly safe way of doing it. And I would say, if you feel like it's difficult for you to deliver a more narrative-based, story-based TMAY, then certainly, you know, the chronological method is an easy way to prepare, and a fail-safe way to make sure you're sort of covering all the major aspects of your background. Having said that, the much better way to go about this really is to deliver a narrative or a story. And so what I would do is start off always start off with the top line, the big picture. Even if you are going to go with the chronological methodology, start the conversation with at least one or two sentences where it's the big picture overall introduction. Okay, so for example, I am a marketing professional with about a decade of experience working with a multitude of different clients, corporate clients, nonprofit clients, government clients, and I've covered different parts of the marketing landscape, from social media, digital media, to customer segmentation, to brand management. I don't know, I'm just thinking off the top of my head if I was a marketing person, but you know, you get how what I mean. So I mean, if you're a finance person, you say I am a corporate finance expert. I've got about 5 years of solid corporate finance experience. I also have a couple more years of general corporate strategy experience. I worked in these specific industries. I worked in these specific roles. Something to give an overall introduction to who you are. That helps situate you for your listener, right? So it's very effective, but it's also just a natural way of when, you know, if you meet somebody for the first time and you introduce yourself, it's almost always going to be some version of, you know, this is my name, and, you know, this is what I do, and here's how long I've done it for, and here's a little bit more detail. Then you can go into the chronological if you'd like, or the other methodology, which is to pick the pieces that you think are relevant to the job.